As you can see, it's now 6 o'clock in the evening and my day is only just about half done. I work right till it gets dark and I work till I can't see anymore. And here it is, the sun is about to set and we've had a lovely day, no rain, but the clouds are grey. I'm also going to spray later on, so my spray can is there. I've got to deal with the weeds on the path. Some people tell me off for using chemical, but without chemical I find it very hard to control weeds in all these little nooks and crannies. So let me show you what I'm about to do. Weeds are a perennial problem, and as many of you will know, a weed is defined as a plant that is growing in the wrong place. And sometimes you have plants which you've planted about 30 or more years ago and they spread so much that they become invasive and they have outlived their usefulness. This video is about the pond I made back in 1990, which is getting on 33 years ago. 1990 is a very, very long time back. And this lovely pond was made back in 1990, and I'm going to dig out some old still photographs and show them on the video to show how we started making it. It still looks very pristine, as you can clearly see. It's absolutely lovely. Everyone who comes here, they absolutely rave about it. But if you were to probe a bit deeper, you'll find that not all is fine. It's not hunky-dory, as they say. During the past week, I started clearing some of the debris because hidden away under all these bushes, this lovely plant is called the Formosan lily, and the botanical name is Libertia grandiflora, also known as Libertia formosianum. So, last week I removed maybe about 10 or 12 bushes from there just because I couldn't see any of the rocks anymore. So that was part of the job done. There's about 20 or 30 foot of rocks that are hidden underneath, and I was doing some more video, but I did ever think of using this as an example of what some of the work I do entails. So let me walk you over to a part that I've been working on this afternoon, and if I take you there, it's hard work. I like doing it, but it's very tiring, I would say. And as I say, this lovely Libertia has taken over the entire pond, so much so that it is almost impossible to remove. We tried digging it with a pickaxe or an Indian spade as well, Indian mattock, but to no avail. So in the end I had to use one of these silky saws, old silky saws, to remove this. So this is all the debris that I pulled out. Look at it. It's not growing here. This is the stuff I got out. And all these clumps of plants, as you can see, they're not growing well. They've more or less outlived their usefulness. There's more of it, and it's going to be quite a job getting it out. And this is the implement I use. Look at it. It's a Chinese mattock. I think made in China, but I think they use it in India as well. So from this entire area, I cleared a lot of these half-dead Libertia. Look at it. It's no good, or almost dead. So there are more plants and even more. The reason why I'm trying to get rid of it is because underneath all this Libertia, when I made the garden in 1990, there was these lovely rocks hidden away. And you can see even this saguaro cypress is hiding this beautiful piece of rock. Tomorrow I'll get one of my staff to hold the camera while I do it. So this beautiful boat-shaped rock is hidden underneath here, underneath the plant, so I'm going to thin that out. So I'm going to record what I do so that you can get some enjoyment from seeing how I restore this pond gradually. There's another large saguaro cypress. Mind you, all these big bushes were small bonsai at one point. They were no more than, say, 6 or 8 inch diameter little broom-shaped style bonsai, and I planted them in the ground here by the pond because it's a lovely evergreen plant. And look at it, what a large bush has made in 30 years. Just 30 years of growth. And it's grown so much that it's hiding the footpath that I made down to the pond. And I've just this afternoon done some pruning, as you can see. I've been pruning with my secateurs, and I managed to get back to the old flagstones which form part of the garden design. Over the years, this saguaro cypress, as it sheds the needles, all the needles fall on the paving here, and you can see what's happening. All the branches have self-layered. These are all roots. You can see they're live roots. These branches have layered themselves. So I don't have to do air layering with a bag. They've just air layered themselves just on the old dead leaves which have fallen on the ground or on this path. So I'm going to cut it further back, and there are some places where I can take air layering of quite a large thick trunk because there are roots underneath it. So I will beautify this bush and restore it to its original beauty, restore this garden to its original beauty. So I will continue videoing tomorrow as well with the help of my staff and show you what I've been doing. So this video I'm continuing to do, it's about how I'm clearing the pond to make it look like new. It's amazing how much growth takes place in just a year. This is all the weed that I've pulled out from the pond. Look at it, it's masses of it, masses and masses. And not only that, we have a lot of sphagnum moss growing around the pond. So all this stuff is sphagnum moss that you see here. And this we can harvest and use for our air layering. So the pond is full of sphagnum moss and water weeds. So we have all sorts of things growing here. So it's really, really exciting. And I pull the weeds out of the pond and leave it to dry so that I can then move them more easily. If it is sodden with water, it is very heavy to move. So here we are. This is what we got out. And there is more around. See on that rock, there's piles and piles of it. Absolutely piles of it. And this is all the dirt that comes out, all the debris from the pond. But when we've cleaned it, you will see the difference. Already there's a difference in the look of the pond. This part of the pond was covered with weeds, and those are the weeds that I've got out of the pond. You can see what a lot of it there is. And gradually I'm going to excavate the weeds because there is no other way I can get the weeds out. And I'm going to use a type of Indian spade or hoe to get it out. So this is the amount of stuff we've got out so far. And you're going to see me get into the pond to take the rest of all this weed and stuff out. So I've got Josh with me here today, and the two of us are going to work together to see how we're going to tackle this. So watch this space, as I say. I'm trying to take out this self-layered branch. I've cut it with my big loppers, with this lopper, and just show you how prolific these plants are. It's almost like collecting from the wild, except that this is not the wild, this is my garden. There you are. So have a look at that. Look at the root on that. See, it's aerated itself. So I'm going to plant this in a pot and I'll get a new plant for making a bonsai. So I'm going to go through this entire bush to get plants like this out. So nothing is ever wasted. It's got a beautiful trunk and I dare say I could possibly make a decent bonsai out of it. So while I'm working, I'm just going to put it in a pond so that it doesn't dry out, and then I will rescue it. So I will do the entire area here and manage to get many of these self-aerating out of this patch. So back in here, there are all sorts of plants which have laid themselves. The more I dig, the more roots I find. There you are. All these little branches too have layered themselves. I will show you in a minute. They will all come out like magic. There you go. Look at these lovely branches, all rooted, self-layered in the ground. So nothing will be wasted. So I'm not going to film anymore, but this entire bush is going to be taken out and I will rescue the plants and we will make bonsai from that. So although the object was just to get sight of this beautiful rock again, I'm also getting a bonus from growing this as potential bonsai material. See, even with a pickaxe you can't get these bushes out. They have to be sawn out with the saw. So there you go. I've got the rest of the evening to do this and I'll be doing it for the rest of the evening and I will be having great fun. Okay, so before I jump in the water, let me show you what we've done so far. Now you can see the entire rock. Prior to this, the rock was completely smothered by that bush and it was 2 saguaro cypress bushes. Now these saguaro cypress had rooted in the ground and were covering all the rock like that, and we're trying to save it. We're going to put it in sphagnum moss to try and get something out of it, because nothing is ever wasted on the nursery. So you can see all this amount of saguaro cypress that we got out just from there. So all this is going to be put in sphagnum moss to grow, and I've now recovered all this area. So this is the path that leads onto the area around the pond. So we're going to restore this. So this is the first part of the restoration. I've already started taking out the pond weeds. These are all the pond weeds that we've taken out, and let me show you what I will do next. I've got Josh with me. He's going to get in the pond with me. He hasn't got waders, so he's just wearing his shorts and going in barefoot. So all these weeds and grasses, they may be all right for thatching, but they're no good really for the pond. So it is just hard work, like so. It's literally digging it out, but I've got to be careful how I dig, because this pond has got a liner, and if I go too crazy I may spoil the liner. Look at all that sludge coming out. See all the muck? This is all the muck that has collected in the pond. So just tedious work, but to restore the pond I've got to do it. little by little it will all come out. So look at the sludge and the muck. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do the rest of the evening to dig all this out. It's Sunday evening, 7 o'clock, and the sun is about to set. And I've been pruning some of these big trees around the pond. And let me show you what the pond looks like now. We've removed all these great big bushes of the Formosan lily, Libertia grandiflora, from that side of the pond, so you can now see the rocks and the mounds. And of course the whole place is looking much tidier, but we still got to go into the pond to get out more of the unwanted pond weeds, because it soon gets choked up and the pond becomes so congested that the fish don't have room to swim in. So there's some more work to do, but at least I can show you a bit of the transformation that has taken place. And of course the rocks are now restored to their original beauty, so you can see them clearly. And when it is finally complete, I will show you it once more. So there you go. So let me conclude the video by showing you the finished article. I pruned this Bouverensis pine, and in the distance are those 4 big Niwaki that I pruned, and the garden is looking pristine. It almost looks like a Monet garden with all those water lilies floating there. A lot of people remark that it looks very much Monet-like. So enjoy this, and we will move on to another video next time.